As I kept getting platinum trophies, which took me closer and closer to my 300th, I thought, what should I do for it? Normally, for my previous milestone platinum trophies, I have tried to be possible to get them for some of my favourite games and series. But for this one, I thought it would be a bit different. Enter Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. Crash Bandicoot 4 is 2020's entry into the now legendary Crash Bandicoot series. Continuing on from the Insane trilogy, this game continues the series' platforming gameplay while adding in new elements in the form of quantum masks which alter gameplay slightly by giving you new power-ups and abilities to use. There are also multiple playable characters in this game: Crash, Coco, Tawna, Dingodile and Neocortex himself. Looking at the trophy difficulty for Crash 4, it is regarded as the hardest in the series and an extremely hard platinum in general. But me having done the Insane trilogy back in the day, and having way more self-belief than I probably should have had, I thought, surely it can't be that bad.
It can.
So, not knowing what to expect, I headed into my first playthrough, where I quickly earned some trophies. The first one was for spinning a TV 3 times. I discovered and completed a bonus path. I experienced my first of many heartbreaks in this game, and also completed a level without dying. I crouched into a double jump for another trophy.
Parkour!
And met one of the previously mentioned quantum masks for another trophy. I changed skins and gave Crash some new swag. Destroyed one of N. Gin's megaphones and shut him up, before I attempted a time trial where I was miles off, but more on that later. I discovered and completed my first flashback tape to earn 2 more trophies. Flashback tapes are collectible tapes that unlock bonus levels set before the events of the first Crash Bandicoot game, detailing the trials and experiments Crash and Coco went through in Castle Cortex. There are a total of 21 of these to be obtained and 100% completed, which is just destroying all the crates. To earn a flashback tape, you must reach a point in certain levels that contain them without having any deaths by that point. I must admit, some of these flashback tapes are pretty brutal in places in terms of difficulty, with some taking upwards of an hour to complete, but again, more on that later. Moving on, I defeated N. Gin. I finished a timeline, which is basically just a semi-repeat of a level, with the start ever being played by a different character, like Tawna, Dingodile or Cortex. I met another one of the masks for another trophy. I continued destroying things and earned another trophy for shutting up another boss. I then defeated said boss in hand-to-hand combat. Well, spin-to-face combat, but you know. Next up, unfortunately, I scared a cat hiding in a dumpster, so I would like to publicly apologise for this. Playing as Dingodile, I destroyed a sign. I finished the level in inverted mode, which, as you can imagine, inverts and mirrors the level. I also managed to finish this level without dying and get every single crate, earning my first insanely perfect relic, but much more on those later. I met another mask. Next up, I defeated Cortex, which I feel like is something we may have done once or twice in this whole series. Shockingly, next up, I earned another new mask. I got a tiny bit confused with some numbers. By this point, I had earned half of the clear gems in the game. There are 228 clear gems throughout the game, consisting of 6 per level in all 38 levels. In each level, to get the gems you must earn 40, 60 and 80% of the bumper fruit, break all of the crates in the level, die 3 times or less, and find the hidden gem in the level. Thankfully for these, they do not all have to be done in one run.
Bruh.
I defeated the game's big bads, before Crash hit them with some blatant disrespect and emoted on them, and then we all decided to go and get some food. Evidently in the next dimension Crash was still a bit full, because I don't know why that happened. After a few more fails I was able to finish the level where we were betrayed, again by Cortex, and I earned another trophy. Continuing on through the game, I moved towards the end, where I struggled with this part of this level many times, and was extremely worried at the fact that I would have to do this, 1, without dying, and 2, as part of a time trial. I defeated Cortex for the second time in this game, which took me to the end of the story. Next, I would clean up some miscellaneous trophies before tackling the hard part at the end of the game. Firstly for triple spinning, and then secondly for defeating an enemy after triple spinning. I quickly completed a level as Coco. Then I attacked a tree to get some berries. I shot some cannons and then made some music for 2 more trophies. I got all the berries on the grind section and saw a lot of wool for another trophy. I made even more music, and then decided to move into the 2-player trophies. After this, I completed the last of the 9 timeline levels, then decided to get all of the coloured gems. Being me, I decided to start with the hardest one, which was the blue gem. For this, found in the level Dragon On, you have to complete the entire level without breaking a single crate, which is quite frustrating as there are multiple points in the level where you can accidentally break a crate, and with no checkpoints, if this happens, you are pretty much screwed and have to restart the level. Next, I got the green gem, which is in the level Hit the Road. After being chased by the truck, you can spin on a bin to get a remote control. Spinning on this will direct it into a nitro crate, which will reveal the gem. The red gem is found in the Insanity Peak level, where you must jump on disappearing platforms in a specific order to make it appear. And finally, the topaz gem, which is found in Run It By You. At the start, instead of going on the jetboard, you can do a small parkour section where this gem is located atop a few crates. Running out of easy trophies left to get, I defeated a boss in inverted mode to get 1 more trophy. Next up was one of the most difficult and frustrating stages of any game I've ever encountered in my trophy hunting career. Firstly, we started off with the insanely perfect relics. To obtain one of these, you have to complete an entire level without any deaths and breaking every single box in the level. There are 30 of these in the game, and this, along with the time trials, is where the largest part of my playtime, and pretty much everyone else's playtime, ended up being, and where there was a lot of frustration. Personally, my method for this was to do 1 dimension at a time. I would do a level, get the insanely perfect relic, which would award me all of the clear gems in the process, then I would quickly finish the inverted version for all of those gems too, as there is a separate trophy for getting all of them. After I had done every level in the dimension, I would go back to the first one and tackle the time trial for it. I'd done this as the levels were still familiar in my head at this point, so I thought it may be easier and much less taxing on my sanity than trying all of them at once. Some of the early levels weren't too bad in the grand scheme of things, only taking a few attempts each in some places, but as I progressed further and further through, I realised this was going to be much harder than I anticipated.
That's what she said!
Oh my god. After that spectacular fail, I thought, surely things can't get any worse this level, but I could not have been any more wrong. Thankfully, a few runs later I was able to not miss any boxes or kill myself in any stupid ways and get this level ticked off. But, of course, the rest of this would also not go swimmingly, as soon after I experienced another heartbreak.
Ah! Ah! You don't scare me! Work on it! Sir, yes, sir!
Continuing on, the level Run It By You was an absolute nightmare and took me many attempts to do. And the timeline variant for it didn't go much better. And the further into each new level I got, I would keep finding ways to throw away perfectly good runs. But with a lot of perseverance, or stupidity, whichever you would like to call it, I would keep on making progress, finally getting the Platinum time trial done for Rock Blocked, which, like previous levels, was absolutely horrific to do. Things seemed to be going pretty well, so when the game decided that this should happen, bruh. Finally, I made it to the last dimension where I expected to have the biggest amount of problems, and boy was I right. I feel like the levels in this dimension took me longer than a few of the other dimensions combined. And after many hours being stuck on this level, I finally made it back to this point, where I thought, heck, I may actually have a chance of doing this and finally being free of this torture. Come on now, you didn't expect that to happen first time now, did you? After a few more unsuccessful runs, I decided to try again the next day after work, and thankfully, this time I was in fact able to finish it. This just left me needing to do the final level to finally have all the insanely perfect relics. This level I didn't think would be too bad, however the controls for Cortex are infuriating. If you've played this game you will know exactly what I mean, so this took a few more attempts than I would have liked, but thankfully nowhere near as long as the other levels in this section had taken. And after this level was done, I earned the trophies for earning all of the clear gems and all of the insanely perfect relics. As I had been doing all of the inverted levels at the same time, I only had to finish this last level and earn all the gems in it to earn 2 more trophies. 1 for finishing all the levels in inverted modes, and 2 for earning all of the inverted gems. After this, I had reached 100% completion, but I still had a long way to go to earn that sweet platinum trophy. As for some reason in this game you need to earn 106% instead of 100%. So I watched the 100% bonus ending video to earn another trophy, and continued on with my remaining trophies. Firstly, finishing off all of the platinum flashback relics to earn another trophy. As I said previously, some of these were pretty tough, but I didn't think they were anything in comparison to the insanely perfect relics or the time trials, but they certainly offered up their own unique challenges. Now, at this point, all I had left to do was the final 4 platinum relics for the Cortex Island dimension. And if I was hoping that these would be quite easy and not take a lot of time, then oh, I was in for a treat, as these probably took longer than most of the other time trials combined. This first level especially took many hours in one day, and in the end I only managed to sneak through it by just over a second. The next level, however, Toxic Tunnels, was significantly worse in pretty much every single way. I spent probably somewhere between 10 and 15 hours over the course of multiple days trying to get through this, but could never seem to do it quick enough to beat the time trial time. I had read when I had started this game that this level was the hardest in terms of pretty much everything, the time trial and the perfect relic. However, experiencing it firsthand, I can safely say it 100% is. This easily took me well into the hundreds for attempts, but thankfully I was able to just about beat it with about half a second remaining on the time trial, which personally for me is excellent news, as I had already finished the level multiple times, but all the time trials that I had achieved were gold, and I don't think I could have emotionally taken having to do this level any more times than I did. Which led me all the way back to Cortex Castle, the level that seemed incredibly daunting at first, and was a massive struggle during the perfect relics, but this time I noticed that I was able to do the insects relatively easily, mostly due to how fast paced it already is, and how many times I'd done it during the perfect relic run. So I was able to get through it relatively quickly, surprisingly enough. Seem familiar? I am nothing if not consistent. Thankfully, my persistence was rewarded by the gaming gods, as a few runs later I was able to finally finish the level and time trial, leaving only one more to go, which is the final level in the game, Seeing Double. I hadn't really thought much about this level until I realised it had a Cortex section at the start of it, and as I said previously, his controls are utterly diabolical sometimes. This turned out to be my biggest struggle with it, as I didn't think the level was too hard, I was just lining up boxes to shoot or dash through and hoping that everything worked out. But, as is customary in cam gaming moments, I got to the end and screwed it up. At this point, having only one time trial left to do was either going to make or break me, knowing I was so close to finally being done was driving me insane. So I just had to lock in for one more good run and I was essentially done with this game. I tried and eventually I got back to the same endpoint I had failed at multiple times before. And this time, I'll just say, I'm so glad I had a spare mask. After conquering the insanely perfect relics and time trials, I finally had 106% overall completion. So all that was left for me to do was to watch the 106% bonus ending and I would have my shiny platinum trophy. And while getting that I would also earn my 300th overall platinum trophy. Yeah, finally. Now that I have finished the game and can look back on it, I can say I had a mostly fun time with it overall. The new masks and power-up additions were fun and added multiple new ways to play the game, and the level design was great too, albeit a significant jump in difficulty from previous entries. The difficulty spike for the insanely perfect relics and the platinum time trials were massive for me. However, I do also understand that I am in a sort of niche for completionists and trophy hunters, and this is not something I had to do, someone please tell that to my brain, and not everyone will do this. To me, it felt like a Souls game experience, which is incredibly frustrating and sometimes it feels like you're making absolutely no progress, but when you do, it is an incredible feeling that can really only be found in these types of games. But, as I said, I appreciate that it might not be everyone's cup of tea. A standard playthrough is fun and not too strenuous for the more casual type of players too, offering couch co-op sorts of modes if you're that way inclined. My platinum trophy run took me a grand total of 217 hours. But again, this was going for the 100% completion, and the standard story one will take you significantly less time than this. Difficulty wise, I would give this a 10 out of 10, and enjoyment wise, I would give this a solid 8 out of 10. If this is not something you have played yet, I highly recommend it, regardless of if you like suffering through the time trials and insanely perfect relics, or just want to experience the story and new additions. There is something here for you, hopefully. As always, thank you for watching. Feel free to check out my other Platinum Trophy videos, which will be linked in the description. And if you are currently working on or have recently achieved any Platinum Trophies, please feel free to let me know in the comments. I would love to hear.